Hey, what's up? Jason here. Thanks for checking out the channel today. So this is not going to be one of those old man shakes at fists because AI is destroying the music industry or pop music sucks because it's all formulaic bullshit. I do want to talk about how to use AI responsibly as a songwriter. So the rationale for that is, let's just take a look at Spotify's top 50 country songs. If you follow Rick Beato or the music industry in general, you're going to know all of this stuff. But let's just say all of these artists who have popular songs have a whole army of people to write songs for them, or they'll collaborate. They'll hire the best producer. They'll hire, a bunch of songwriters. Rick Beato did a really good video that talked about a Coldplay song that had 15 writers on it. The band, each of the guys in the band are songwriters, so that's 4, and then a couple of guests, vocalists, and all that type of stuff. Now, my songwriting coach told me that, yes, absolutely, this happens in the music industry. What do you think? There's people that just write choruses, there's people that just write turnarounds or bridges or are really good at lyrics or all that kind of stuff. And these popular artists have a whole army of people who help them with stuff. But what about the rest of us independents who are broke like me? You don't have any money. You do this part-time, so you've got 1 or 2 jobs, and you just like making music. I don't want to go viral. So for people who are using AI to just create something to help them go viral, that's always going to exist. I don't really care. I do this because I love writing music, and I think what would be useful for me is to have songs good enough that somebody might want to buy them and use them for an artist. I don't plan on making it. I don't want to make it. I'm 51. I don't really care. I just like making music. I love the creative process. I love fighting with a lyric, 1 word, for 2 weeks, as crazy as that sounds. So if you watched some of my other videos in this series about creating an album, one of the things I talked about was writing a little bit of a song, getting it recorded as much as possible, going out for walks. So I still do that all the time. And there's just 1 phrase or 1 word that I don't like, and I might spend 2 weeks just trying to figure out a word, but that's what I like doing. I enjoy it. So I'm going to share with you how I use AI to help me with songwriting. That, hey, if you want to call it cheating, go for it. I don't think it's cheating. I don't think it's any different than these popular artists who have a whole army of people that help them write hit songs. So this is what I did. I've got easily a couple of 100 songs that I whittled down to 50 that I've now whittled down to 10 and 1 bonus track that I'm going to put on this album. So I made a spreadsheet here that just had the tempo, the title, a short description, the length, the style, and songs that have a similar feel. Now, some of these, I don't know what they sound like, but maybe once other people hear them, they'll say, hey, you ripped off this artist, because, I don't know, that's kind of the way it goes. I did a TikTok video with using automation to control a wah pedal with one of my songs, and the comments about who this artist sounds like was actually pretty hilarious. So people are going to attach their own baggage to it. Who cares? So with the description for some of these, it just has a description, but I don't really have a story. So some of them are personal stories. For example, this one, it's been a while. I just actually finished writing this one at like 6 in the morning this morning, which is probably why I don't sound very coherent. I'm tired. But anyway, so this one, there's no story for it. It's kind of a funky country rock song with a big pop hook and chorus. So I don't know what I want it to be about. So I've got that information in here. And I went over to GPT and I said, first of all, I want you to act as a music producer and a songwriting coach. So tip number 1 is prepare whatever AI you're using for what you want it to do. If you're a fan of a particular genre or an artist or certain songwriters, give it that information first, and then that will help it make good suggestions for you. So give it context and then move on to the next thing. So now I gave it the context about the album. So I said, I tentatively have an album that's called this. Here's the reason. Here's the data that I'm going to give you. This is my artist name, and make sure it knows that I'm the country one, not the dance one, because I did use CD Baby once to publish 2 songs, and it's still showing on his profile. They completely screwed it up, and there's no way for me to get rid of it. So there's a really popular artist who's got hundreds of thousands of monthly listeners, still with a couple of my really bad old songs on his profile. Okay, this is one thing to not necessarily worry about, but just to be aware of. AI is overly positive at first. So it says Small Town Wanderer is a fantastic title with lots of depth. So you can ask it to be as critical as you want, but by default, it's basically going to affirm your confirmation. Your confirmation bias is basically you see something and you're like, yes, that's the best thing ever because I already agree with it. The same thing is going to happen in AI. It's going to be overly positive. It's going to give you great encouraging feedback, which is cool. But if you want a critique, you have to specifically tell it. Reply from the perspective of the 6 thinking hats. Google that if you don't know what it is, and or be very critical, or listen as this kind of person to this, and then it will give you more, hopefully, constructive criticism. And you don't have to be specific. Just say, here's the, I didn't even say CSV right. I said, here's the CSP file with the list of songs. Do you understand it? And then it spit out that, yes, it did. So now, because I'm at the state with this album where I have decided on the 10 songs plus the 1 bonus song, and they kind of have a different feel between them. Some are more pop, some are more country, some are a little bit more rock, and I'm thinking, how can I structure these so it has a good flow? So that's what I wanted to help with first. So I said, these aren't necessarily in order. Can you help me order the songs? And it did, but it kind of blew a tire down here and picked song titles that are not in the CSV. Now I just asked it, what are the names of all the songs? Now it got them. Okay, so now it understands what all of my song titles are. And I asked it to suggest an order. Now this is pretty cool because it has context about the album, and this is the flow that it suggested and reasons why, which is pretty cool. So I wasn't going to start with this track. I was actually going to start with Whiskey Sunsets, which is more of a laid back song, because I thought it kind of reflected the overall tone of the album. But once it suggested this, I thought, you know what, that actually does make sense, because that I just finished actually this song this morning. I think that will be a really good one to kick it off. Now, because it's got the tempo and it's got the description and all that stuff, it knows that it's creating a flow, and it's giving you a little bit of a reason why it's organized things the way that it has. Now, here's the transition part. So after a few lively songs, here's where you can shift to a more emotional tone. This is a good track to follow up with because of the introspective mood of it, which actually is pretty funny because these 2 songs I did write together with my last single the last time. They're all related to each other. It's a story of, well, relationships, more or less. And they all kind of follow each other, but they have a different feel. So it gave me an order that I might not have considered, but I said, yes, I like that. But some of the songs don't have a story. And the music's written for them. The melodies are written, all that stuff. I tend to just blah, blah, blah as I go through with the writing process. But 3 of the songs, I don't know what they should be about. I know kind of what they sound like and what I think they feel like, but I really don't have a story for it. So now it couldn't figure that out by reading the descriptions, so I told it, here's the 3 songs that don't have stories yet. And now it gave me which of these 3 might be a good fit. So based on this little piece of the prompt here. So given the title is Small Town Wanderer, I don't want a song with that title, but maybe with that story. Which of the 3 might be a good fit? So it said, given that, Drive-In would be a good fit, and here's why. And my next prompt followed up with, so if I'm starting the album with that song, here's a little bit of context about it. It's kind of similar to a song I wrote a while ago. Can you find that? Now, it didn't find it, and it didn't find the lyrics either. So I just actually turned on my microphone and sang the lyrics, and then it found them, and it gave me some suggestions. So just imagine you're having a conversation in a room with a songwriter, and you're saying, yeah, I have this old song, let's listen to it. Put it up on the phone, listen to it. This new one, I kind of want to have it to have the same feel. Where should I take it? Same thing with using AI to do this. You're just bouncing ideas off of it. And then I said, yeah, I have no problem basically stealing from myself because I really like this Where I'm From song. No one ever listens to it. It was, I think, the second song I ever wrote, but I really like it, and I actually might bring it back and polish it and have 12 songs on the album, kind of as bookends. So if this drive-in is the first one, then maybe I close it with kind of a reworked version of Where I'm From. Anyway, give me some lyrics. It gave me some really bad, cheesy lyrics. I'm not going to use any of these because, honestly, they're all terrible. That's one thing I did find with using AI to help with songwriting. It makes really nice sounding poems, but they have no meaning and they're very, very cliche. I'm sure if I prompted it a little bit better, it could give me some better suggestions for lyrics. Or, the last video I talked about, write a story about the song. What's the 3 acts of your song? Put that into AI and then it can help you with crafting some lyrics. So it gave me some stuff I didn't like. And now this was just a working title. And I told it that. I said, if the theme is this, what would be some better song titles? I said, I just called it this because it feels like a driving song. And it gave me a bunch of suggestions. And here's where the payoff happened. Highways and Heartstrings. Now, yeah, that's cheesy and cliche, but my brain just heard the entire song with that as the chorus. And that's probably the biggest thing AI can help you with as a creative, is trying to extract out of your brain what you can't verbalize. So a lot of the times with lyrics or song titles and stuff, all my previous release stuff is because it's a side hustle. I could go on for years and never release the song. So I have to get my lyrics to a point where, it's coherent enough, it's good enough, I'll put it out there. And I'm never really 100% happy with basically any of the stuff that I've done. The last song that I just released a single for called The Last Time is probably my favorite one. And it's probably 90% of what I wanted it to be. But I was stuck. So I kind of released it a little bit early. And I might actually do another version of that, maybe put it on the album too. But anyway, so it gave me this awesome thing that I just heard as the chorus. And I said, hey, this is really, really cool, but take a shot at the lyrics. Here's the structure of the song. Here's the tempo. Here's how long it is. And it gave me a bunch of really bad lyrics. Again, some of these, headlights cut through the midnight air. Radio's loud. There's no one there. I mean, come on. That's terrible. That's like grade 3 poem stuff. So if I tinkered around with it, maybe it will give me some better lyrics, but at least I have that idea. So highways and heartstrings pull me tight. Under open skies and the pale moonlight. I mean, come on. I've read poems in grade 1 that sound like that. But anyway, it's got some interesting metaphors and stuff that I can probably use. And honestly, I want to write the lyrics because writing lyrics is far and away the hardest thing for me because of how my brain works. If I'm writing a song about going to the store, it has to be logical. I went into the car and turned the car on and drove down the street to the store. I got out of the car and went, I really struggle with metaphor and creating good lyrics, but I love fighting with it. So hopefully between my stupid brain and stupid AI, we can both figure out something good for this song. I hope this was useful for you. So I would say drop a comment below because I'm really interested in hearing what independent artists think about this. Is using AI to help you write songs cheating? I follow a lot of people on Instagram and TikTok, independent songwriters, and they're friggin' amazing. And they have like 1,000 followers, which I think is just completely crazy. So some people are just really, really good at that, but there's a lot of us that really struggle with it, especially when you want to do something like this and it's part-time. So this has been extremely useful for me, and now I feel the album is kind of coalesced to a point where I am now entering pre-production. I would say the songs are 70% written in total. Some are completely done. Some are just like 3 basic parts, but I can hear the whole song in my head. This kind of helped me coalesce things into a package, which is great because now I'm going to be able to look at that order of the songs and tell a story for the whole album. Even though I know a lot of people don't listen to albums. So again, it's just a project for me because I just want to do one. So drop a comment if you've got questions or suggestions for how you've used AI, not to write a whole song for you or any of those, create me a viral clip for TikTok, but really used it for songwriting when you want to control most of the creative process. So that's it for now. Thanks for listening to the ramble. Sorry I didn't follow the script AI suggested, but that's it. Like and subscribe. You get notified when new videos come out. I say that at the end of every video. I don't know why. I think just because. I'll stop now. Bye.